It's good of you to join me today. This is Esther at Stampin Star Creations with the Global Stampin' Video Hop team. So please do check out the other hops in the list. The link will be below in the description. So this month's theme is to use cute critters. I'll be using flowering rain boots and the mischievous mice in today's project. So I'll be using all the mice in today's project, and if I can get them out of the box, and I'm going ahead and stamping them in a crumb cake. Some of them are partially stamped because I don't need the whole image, I just need the picture of the mice. Then I'm going to colour them in. So I'm going to show you part of the process of the colouring, but not all of it, just so that I don't bore you to death with colouring. And colouring in tone on tone, so using the crumb cake stamping blends for the outline, using the dark colour, then coming in with a light crumb cake. And I also decided to add one more colour, and that's the ivory. So in a minute I'm going to use that for touching up a few of the areas across the nose, the tummy, the tail, and a bit of the hands and the feet, when I remember to do that later on in the other ones. So that's the crumb cake, and then just coming in now with some ivory. And colouring inside the ears as well. I forgot to tell you that bit. And the tail. So I'm not worrying about the whiskers or anything like that because they'll be cut off. And I've done the mouse inside the cheese, and then this little guy here holding onto the pencil. Now I don't actually use the whole of this one at the end after colouring it all in, but there you go, we can still use the others. So grabbing out the other stamp set, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp the boots in shaded spruce. These are so well shaded, it has a really lovely realistic look to them where you've got this natural shine on the stamps. So coming in with Cajun Craze to make a nice terracotta pot, and I didn't quite like the white showing for this project, so I wanted them to look as realistic as possible. So coming in with my Stampin' blends, I've decided just to colour over the darker pieces where it's stamped out, and then anywhere where it's left a light, I'm going to come in with a light shaded spruce. So this just helps to fill all the gaps, and colouring inside the boot with white. And then the terracotta pot gets the same treatment as well. So just using whatever's stamped out to go in and colour in dark, and then any patches that are left come in with a lighter shade in the Stampin' blends. Then the watering can is Mossy Meadow. So thankfully I stamped with colours that I had matching blends to. So here's what they look like coloured in, and I've gone ahead and die cut them out. And because I've got left with this white rim, I didn't want such a thick white rim, so I've cut as close as I can, and then you're still left with a bit of white. So if you just use your blender pen, preferably the thicker side, which is a bit quicker, then you could just go ahead and colour that in to blend it in with the rest of your image. So all the other images got the same treatment, and we're just going to go and work on the next bit. So for the background of the card, I've got some basic white cardstock, and I'm using the stalks from the stamp set and just creating somewhere a background for the image to lay. And then the tulips are going to go on top. Now at this point I'm not quite sure where my card's going to go and whether to risk cutting it out with a die or not. But I decided if I overlaid the die, it'd cut out a lot of the tulips, but nothing ventured, nothing gained, and I go ahead and actually cut out those rectangles. It just gave me a better basis to then add my images on afterwards. Now balmy blue background didn't work, so I reverted back to some basic white cardstock, and I decided to decorate this instead. So I've already pre-cut a die shaped here, which looks like clouds, and creating more of a background for my rectangle shapes that are going to go on the front. So using whatever's on my blending brush just to add a bit of greenery for the bottom, so this blends in better where the tulips are going to lie. Then adding in some more green to colour in the stems and the leaves with the blending brush, and then filling the rest in with the bluey colour. So using Balmy Blue to colour that in. As you can see, it looks much better when you've got a bit of colour. So adding on the boots and the watering can. Rather than having them all on the separate rectangles, I decided they probably looked better at the bottom because it was a more realistic look to have everything grouped together on the bottom. And then I've got space to add a sentiment at the top. So adding in my little cheeky mice, and I've got a this one here with the pencil was a bit tricky, so I've tucked him right down and I'm going to tuck him behind the watering can as if he's just peeping out of the can. I wasn't sure whether to give him the tail, but it seemed a little bit odd the way he was positioned, so the tail went back onto the other mouse, peeping out through that terracotta pot, and the other one is there going ta-da! So happy birthday to you sentiment comes from the Handsomely Suited stamp set, and it's stamped in the matching shaded spruce. Now, as I came to lift this up, I thought, oh, actually it looks quite nice if it's pulled away slightly, so I started adding some dimension, and then what caught my eye was this die from the set, and I thought that might work across the middle like a little bit of trellis. So I wanted to kind of keep the colours very similar with the greens and the terracottas and oranges, so I've cut the trellis out in Cajun craze and I've mounted that across the back for that middle section. So taking off all the dimensional tape, and then we're going to go ahead and position this. Take your time. I like to kind of bend the middle a bit and just position that, and when you're ready you can go ahead and stick it down, and that just helps give that really fun 3D effect to your project. So I hope you've enjoyed today. I've had lots of fun making this card, especially trying to incorporate two different stamp sets, a bit of realism with a bit of cartoon thrown in as well. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out all the other fantastic projects from the other design team, and if you're not already, do go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thumbs up are always welcome, and you can comment below and let me know what you think of today's card. So take care of yourselves and catch you next time. Bye for now.